Hi everyone, welcome back to The Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and today we will be doing the third in our Unboxing Day 2025 Cavalcade of Constructicons. This time we'll be doing Studio Series 86 Hook and Long Haul, which along with the two figures came with this piece and everything that you see here. So Long Haul and Hook come as a 2-pack priced at Commander class, which is about $80. Yeah, you're really, in terms of value, this is a Commander class figure. Just in terms of all of the plastic that comes with them. Long Haul and Hook seem to be fairly standard deluxe Voyager class sized figures with the accompanying amount of plastic in them. But you also get this hunk of plastic that is a trailer that attaches to the back of Long Haul and has all of the pieces to Devastator, along with the rest of these pieces of Devastator and this piece. Everything you see here came as you see it. This was attached separately to the packaging. These were attached separately. The guns were attached separately. And the hands were attached separately. So you have to put them all together yourself. Which is perfectly fine. The instructions make it very clear what you're supposed to do. For Hook, it's very simple. You put his hook on. And there you have it. There is Hook, as he is meant to be in vehicle mode. With Hook, you also get this gun attachment that is supposed to clip here. You know, to hide his blaster among the kibble of his boom arm. Sure, I mean, just like the rest of the Constructicons, yeah, they don't really look... This, I would say this so far looks the most like an actual piece of construction material. You have cockpits, which makes sense. You would have a separate cockpit for driving and a separate cockpit to activate the boom arm. This does not extend out. This does, just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. But you're going to hide his blaster there. And that's essentially that. Hook. For Long Haul, he comes pre-done in his vehicle mode. He looks very nice. And then you need to put together all of the pieces to his trailer assembly. Which, in terms of Devastator, means that you attach his hands and flip them around. There's little 5mm pegs hidden in the back of his hands, which you use to then attach these to the back of the trailer here. His wings, the chest piece wings, both have a tab here that goes in to the sides. And this piece then goes where? Goes underneath. And then Long Haul blaster, which you came in two pieces that you had to put them together, goes into the side of his dump. So what you're left with is this. I'm actually really impressed with the way that they've done this. They really took a nice edge from third party in that all of the pieces do combine to form this trailer very well, actually. It looks very compact. I don't know why you would have a missile pod at a construction site, why anyone would think that this was a normal piece of construction, but it is what it is, and then you clip it into the back of Long Haul's bed, and he can bring his trailer to bear for, you know, construction military applications. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I really like this. I think that this works very well. I really appreciate the fact that, like Scrapper, his wheels are actually wheels. He does roll. There's a nice bit of clearance underneath all of the parts to allow it to roll, so I like that, which is a far cry from Bonecrusher, who had no wheels on him whatsoever. Hook also rolls very nicely. They're actually wheels. So, looking at these, let's do them one at a time. Let's do Hook first. I've already gone over most of this. I mean, in terms of just sheer... His head is just sticking out there. I would assume that you actually turn this around in the actual transformation. This is just how he came in the box. Maybe if you do that, that's better. It looks pretty nice, like I said. I like the fact that there's enough clearance underneath for him to roll nicely. It looks correct as any of these construction vehicles look. It's smart, and I like it. And I think that it works very well. So, Hook is a win in vehicle mode. Long Haul in vehicle mode, also a win. Really looks nice. Really looks nice. Yes, you can't put anything in the bed of his back, but that's fine. That's a concession you make for the actual robot transformation. He does look like a heavy-duty dump truck. I mean, how big this is supposed to be in terms of actual human scale, I have no idea. This is really like, who rolls up to a construction site with this behind them? In any case, I think that it looks pretty decent. I like the utility of it, if you'll pardon the pun. He rolls really nicely. There's a lot of clearance. In terms of vehicles, he looks probably the best out of all the vehicles that I've seen so far. Hook comes close. So they really... This particular set is very good in terms of what they look like in their vehicle modes. So how about we transform them and take a look at what they look like in robot mode. So this is Hook in his robot mode. I would say in terms of proportions, he looks really good. He looks like Scrapper in terms of that. I like the fact that he has a rocker ankle. He's got a full range of articulation in his waist, or his hips rather. He does not have a waist swivel. He does have knees, but just like Scrapper, they are further down on the leg than you'd expect, so he has a much shorter tibia and fibula place. His shoulders look okay. He does have turn, and he does have elbow articulation. He does have a double joint here, so he can actually lift his gun all the way to the top. It doesn't work out as well as probably I would assume it was supposed to. His backpack kind of gets in the way, but it also adds a little bit of extra stability, just like it did in the original toy. His head sculpt is really nice. I think that they really did a good job with the red on all of the visors for the Constructicons. They all look very nice, very vibrant. I like the fact that he does have a tendency to look like all of his green is the same color, as opposed to Bonecrusher. So he is really reminding me very much of Scrapper at the moment. From the profile, he looks pretty good. His shoulders are in line with his head at least, and his hips. Yeah, you got the big boom arm, but you had it in the original toy too, and it does add a little extra stability to the figure. So I would say that Hook is a win. Hook is a win. He looks really nice. He looks like he should. He does have the feeling like he's just wearing a huge backpack, though. But in terms of anything else, I'm impressed with him. The engineering of him is very good. His arms are a little thin, but once again, concession for the fact this is going to be a combiner. So Hook is definitely a win in both robot and vehicle modes. I like his proportions. I like his style. He looks very animation accurate while still looking like, let's just say he's not Masterpiece. He does not form a perfect construction vehicle and then a perfect example of the cartoon. He looks cartoon accurate enough for what this figure is supposed to be. So that is a win. The long haul, let's give him a transform and see what he looks like. So here we have Long Haul in his robot mode. Once again, does not have a hip swivel. None of the Constructicons do. He's a bit of a chunky boy, quite honestly, and I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. I actually like his proportions, oddly enough. He has a faux double joint in his knee. That is because this was actually a double fold to make his truck bed. Unlike the rest of the Constructicons, his knee joint is a little too high as opposed to a little too low. And he is suffering from the Bonecrusher syndrome, where his arms are stubby. Very stubby. But, you know what? I think, unlike Bonecrusher, he works. He works. His proportions, his silhouette is very well done. Everything is in line. His back is free of huge gaping spaces. I mean, 360-wise, he looks really nice. He's got a very simple ball joint for his elbow. And I'm going to assume that that is also a concession for, transformation and the fact that he's Devastator. His hands also are having the same problem that I had with Scrapper. They're very loose, so they have a tendency to just slide in with, like, the barest pressure. But all told, I mean, he's not super posable. He's not super posable, but he gets the job done. I mean, in terms of all the robot mode figures that we've looked at so far, he's definitely not the worst. Bonecrusher is still the worst. For best, I would say it really is a toss-up between this Hook, who is a character I don't really like generally. His original toy was never one of my favorites. But I like the way he looks. He's very slim. He's very articulated, and he looks accurate. And Scrapper. Scrapper and Hook are probably the best of this lot so far. Bonecrusher is easily the worst, and Long Haul is second worst. But that's... I'm not gonna say a lot is bad about Long Haul. Long Haul is a huge chunky boy, even in the cartoon. So to have him be a chunk monster here is not that big of a deal. He's stupid and he's big. That's really the two things that we know about Long Haul. Bonecrusher is stupid and he was never this big in the cartoon. But for the character, for the toy, that was not a win. And I'm not going to bother transforming the trailer until we actually do the rest of Devastator. The Long Haul and Hook 2-pack Commander class is a win. I think they look really nice with few enough concessions to the fact that he will be Devastator that these are still good figures. And if I remember correctly, the Combiner Wars Long Haul was a complete travesty. Like barely a toy. Hook looks great. Hook really does look great. These are both wins in my mind. I mean, if you have already collected Scrapper and Bonecrusher, and then you saw Hook and Long Haul on the shelf, you were going to pick them up anyway, because you're going to make Devastator. I don't think anyone who is not going to make Devastator would pick up the Hook and Long Haul 2-pack. It just wouldn't make any sense to me. These are pretty good. I really enjoy Hook, and Long Haul's fine. I really like them. And I'm really impressed with the third-partiness of the way that this all nestled together for his trailer. So, in the end, these are two really nice figures, especially for the price point. They are heavy. Heavy figures. I like them. I mean, obviously, if you're going to make Devastator, you're going to pick these up. And if you're not going to make Devastator, why would you pick these up? Objectively speaking, they're very good. They're easily two of the better of the bunch so far. I mean, I've only opened 4 of the 6 components. So let's see what the last 2 have for us. Thank you very much for joining me for this 3rd episode of Unboxing Day 2025 Constructicon Madness. If you like this content, please think about liking and sharing and subscribing to the channel so you'll know when more of this content pops up. I've been Phantom. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. See you later, y'all. And one more point. Sorry. Forgot about this. Long Haul and Hook come with the instruction booklet to make Devastator. None of the individual instruction booklets that came with Scrapper, Bonecrusher, or the combined instruction booklet for Long Haul and Hook actually detail how to transform them into the components for Devastator and then put Devastator together. You need to buy this if you wanted the instructions to make Devastator. So, important thing to note. Thank you very much. Sorry I forgot about that.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise. Transformers, when the battle is through, only the strong will survive. Till all I want, unknown soldiers.